Nicole. Thank you for having me. This is going to be a fun class. I cannot wait to dive in. How are you?
Good. Everybody's good.
Awesome. Hey, Nancy, I see you throwing your thumb up. We have Debbie. Okay, so I'm just getting everyone on my
Aviva.
screen.
Yep.
Nice, Eva. Hey, I see the peace sign. There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, Eileen. Hey, Rose. I would love to go down the list, but I'll address all of you. I am going to jump right in and basically start out by stating that I was just speaking with Nicole and Paige, and I was telling them, like, when it comes down to organization and calendars, I've always been big on, for work, my daily regimen, if it's not living in my calendar, it doesn't exist. So I always put things in there for work. But for my personal life, as some of now we have a little human being at home. So we had to organize our personal life a little bit more. We were very lackadaisical with it, like, oh yeah, we'll do that, we'll do this. So now we have this schedule that we've been using on for our personal life. So this is going to be a lot of fun, and I'll give you a lot of tips and tricks that we actually use in our personal life, as well as some stuff that I do with work, because not everything that I do in work is required on that type of level for my personal life. I don't need the invites and all of this other stuff. So with that being said, and then the treat at the end of it, because I know Frida's on here somewhere and she always asks for a picture, as well as other people on here. So I'll show you a picture of the baby. But I want to make sure everyone sticks around. So you'll get that last. What I use in my personal life, and I know we have people on here with Apple phones, as well as Android phones. So the cool thing about using both, I actually there's um, um, I actually use the calendar on my computer, and I use the iCloud calendar as well as the Google calendar. So the benefit of that, the Google for me is more work, because we have our work email and calendars via Gmail and Google Calendar. And all of my personal stuff is via the iCloud calendar. So if you have one or the other, you're going to be completely fine here, because I'll show you exactly how to use it. Now, being that I don't have an Android phone, I'll still be able to show you the Google Calendar on my phone. All right. So let me start out by going with showing you just the computer and just showing you how this all works. All right. So I'll share my screen with you, and I want to actually share this here. All right. Are you all able to see my calendar right now? Cool. Let me move this out the way. All right, so in this here, on my calendar, I'm just looking at it by month. So if you are on an Apple device or Android, it doesn't matter. Google Calendar, it will work on your devices. Now, Google is the glue for Android to keep the calendar, the contacts, the photos, all of that good stuff in syncing in order on Android. You can also use that same thing on an iPhone. But most people, if you're on an iPhone, you probably have iCloud, and it'll do the same. So in this sense, I want you to kind of get familiar with the lay of the land as it relates to Google Calendar. And I'm on my computer, but I'm on calendar.google.com. If you see this URL up here, you'll see it, the lock, calendar.google.com. You can type it in that way if you remember it, or you can actually just go to Google and Google, Google Calendar, and it will come up where you're here. So now, if you look on my left side, I can see the month that I am currently in. But let's say, for instance, I wanted to book a trip in May or June or something like that. I can look at June, all the while in the middle of my screen, I still have April right in front of me, because that is the current month that I am in, and I can keep that month up. On the bottom here, you'll notice where it says meet with, forget about search for people. We're going to skip that and go right down to the calendars. So I have main, birthdays, doctor's appointments, reminders, and tasks. And then down here, I have, it says holidays in the United States. That's something that's going to be pre-populated from Google. So if you forget that the 4th of July is on the 4th of July, the calendar will actually tell you that automatically. So you're in good hands. When you actually create these other calendars, people will ask me, well, why do you have so many different calendars? In a sense that I'm on Google Calendar, but I can set up these color-coded calendars. And I call my first one main. If this is going to be my default or my main calendar, where I put most of my things in, this could be everyday task, like make sure you take out, the trash goes out on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You can throw that in there and make it repeating, so you don't have to add it every single week. I'll show you how to do that. In addition to that, you have, like, I created a calendar for birthdays. Now it's all in one, but it's different colors. So let's say, for instance, you throw the technology aside and then you're in your kitchen and you have a calendar on your refrigerator for birthdays, a calendar for doctor's appointments. Your whole refrigerator is going to get taken up by all of these calendars. This way, you have your device, your mobile phone, or your tablet or your computer, and you'll get to see all of these different things on there. And then you'll train your eye to say, if it's reddish orange, that must be my everyday task. Or if it's green, that's a birthday. Automatically, I know that that's a birthday. As well as like doctor's appointments and so forth. So I have those on there. Now let me go over here so you could see. Up to the top right, you see where it says month. I can actually look at this and say, you know what, let me go by the day. And then I can see what I have just for Thursday, the 28th. And I can look at this day. Now, if I want to go to the next day, you see these two arrows above the 28th, right next to April 28th. I could just go to the next day by hitting the arrow just to see what I have day by day. I personally like to view my things in a month view because it gives me an idea of the lay of the land. Now, I don't have much on this particular calendar. These right here are the pre-populated days that Google has given me as far as holidays. So those are the only things that you're going to see because I have a blank calendar here for you all. I can also look at it by year by hitting a drop down with the month. So let's see here, year. Now I can actually go 2022, 2023, like, hey, what day is, Passover or Easter going to be next year? Or what day does, the 4th of July actually falls on the day? You can look at that and go into the future. So I'll pop back and go back to the day. Oops. We're going to go back to our day. And today, I'll click on today right up here, and it takes me right back. Even if you're in 2030, you'll go right back to the day. Now I'll look at the month view because I want to show you a couple of things here. And let's look at, all right, that's April. There we go. Let me go back one month. So let's go with the 29th. The 29th is Friday. If I want to create a day, I could double click on the 29th. When I double click on the 29th, it prompts me to add a title. So for example, this could be dinner with Eileen. This could be lunch with Frank. This could be doctor's appointment. This could be golf. This could be bridge. This could be clean the house. Whatever you want it to be, give it a title so that you have it. So what I'll do is I'll just say, because I use my calendar sort of like calendar dates and entries, but also like a to-do list. Like, this is what I need to do. So how about this? I'm gonna walk the dog because the dog needs to be walked. And if you notice that it says April 29th to April 29th, I don't want that. That's an all-day event. That's like a birthday. I want a time. So if I uncheck all day, notice now it gives me a time. So I'll say I want to walk the dog around 12:15 p.m. And we'll go on a walk, to 12:45. If I go over, whatever, I go over. But here's my time right now. And then I have this thing right here that says does not repeat. Well, you know what? I'm actually going to walk the dog every day around this time. So I can click on this here and I can say this will repeat daily. Now I've set that part up. I want to go down to the part here. Remember, we talked about the different calendars that I had, and we're going to pass up notification for a second. We'll go down here to main calendar. Remember, I can go to main or doctor's appointments. So if I set up a specific calendar and call it dog, that way, and I can color it purple, I know that that is my dog walking stuff. So I'll go with main just to add it on there, but I can also change the color of main right here. This will be once you start to add more calendars. You can have one calendar and add everything there. That's not a problem. But when you really want to kind of get organized and say, hey, man, these are only doctor's appointments. These are everything around the house and so forth. That's when you'll add the color code to it. So I want it to show I'm busy and, default visibility. So it's always going to go pretty much to, private. Mine will always be private and yours will too. I can add a description like bring treats. Okay. So this description, think about this description could be if you're going to a doctor's appointment, make sure you bring your test results. Things like that, or anything that they told you, or it's like, don't eat any food for this amount of time, yada, yada, yada. Add those notes. If you're going on a lunch date or it's a birthday, make sure you bring balloons. Stop at Target and get that gift. You can have this right in this section here. Now let's go back up to notification. I want to leave this as almost last because I like the notifications and I check this normally before I even get down to the main, but the notification will pop up on this device or it can send you an email. Because if you notice here, it says email. I can say, send me an email. Let's say one day before this happens. So if you have that appointment, if you have that flight, if you have family coming over to visit, remind yourself 2 days before, oh yeah, remember Julius is coming over. Before that doctor's appointment, remember that I have that doctor's appointment so that you can prepare for it and get ready. It also allows you you could do it an hour before, check the traffic if it's only 30 minutes away. So you can get an email notification or notification right on your device. I'll just say notification on my device 1 day before. Now, in this section over here, you probably won't, this is where I'm talking about, I usually use it for work. I am over here and anytime I set up a date, most of the time I either copy the office on there, or if I am to do a meeting with you, I would literally just, add in someone's email address. So then it will actually go to them and send them an invite. Like, hey, we have a dinner date together. And then they will be able to accept that and accept that invitation, almost like a RSVP. So you have that, you can add someone, but for my personal stuff, I rarely do any of that. I usually just, add this here, location wise. If it's a doctor's appointment, it's great. I'm just gonna put the Town Center Mall in Boca Raton here. But if it's a doctor's appointment, if it's a lunch date, if you're going to your friend's house, you can actually add their address right in here. And what that could do is prior to you leaving, it will let you know the geolocation, like how long it can actually take for you to get to that location. So it's nice to have it all in the calendar. so that you're not fiddling around like, hey, I know this is a new doctor I'm going to, or we're going to a new restaurant. I've never been here. You have all of that information in one spot. Once you have all of this, you just want to hit save right here at the top. So once I hit save, now you're going to see that it's every single day forever that I'll be walking my dog at 12:15. So you may have done this on accident, like, oh my goodness, all the way in 2023. I didn't do that right. So you can literally go and change that, and you can click, let's say the 29th, because you're like, I'm not gonna walk the dog. Now look, Google already noticed that there's some dog bones, a leash. It did that. I didn't do it. It just kind of knew, like, okay, walking the dog, let's just give him a nice little background and a color. So in this case, if I made a mistake, or I'm like, you know what, I don't want to walk the dog at 12:15. I can either edit the event, and I can say, well, you know what, let's move it to, not 12:15. That's not going to work. Let's move it to 12:45. And then I can hit save and look at what happens. It knows that I have all of those dates and times in there. So it'll say, hey, should I just change this event or all events? This and following events or all events? Now, the difference between the second option and the third option is this event and then the days after, because if I had days before that had 12:15, it will change all of the times. So I'll say, you know what? All events. Okay, now that's it. But again, if you wanted to delete it and you say, you know what, forget about it. My wife's gonna walk the dog. I'm taking this out of my calendar. I can hit delete event and we get that same prompt. This event, this and following events, or all events. I'll just go and hit all events. So now it just deleted all of those events. Just that quick. Now, some of you probably would have tried to go and delete all of those events one by one, and you would have been at your computer forever. So I'm glad I saved you the time. You can thank me later. What we're going to do here now, I want to show you the same idea on the iCloud calendar. So if you have iCloud, you'll be able to do the same exact thing. Now, the reason why I'm showing you this, even if you don't have iCloud, I just want to show you that whichever one you have, they're all the same. The things are going to be in a different place. So when I go on the 29th, look at, I double click it. I double clicked it. It looks a little different, but I could still say walk the dog. Okay. I can put in a location. We're going to say town center. Let's go with Boca Raton. Let's just add this. Now on the iCloud calendar, this basically does not just auto-populate the address like Google does. If you're doing it in your calendar on your phone, it's different because you're using this other view. So here, as I go through this, 1, 2, 3, street, and we have an address in there, and then we can turn the date, we can do the time, make sure your time zone is correct. It should automatically default to the right one. Repeating, this is what we just did before with the other calendar. We could do every week, every day, every month. So we go every day, end, never, or I can say on a date, I'll be doing this for the next month or the next 3 weeks. And I can say, stop this event on a certain date. And then I'll say by June 9th. How about that? So it'll go every day until June 9th. So if you have to do something every day, perhaps you have physical therapy or something like that, and I'm like, you're going to do physical therapy every Thursday for the next 6 weeks. So you can stop it on that day if you like. So it's not always repeating. Then you can set up an alert. As you can see here, we were able to do that before, 2 hours before every single time. Hey, make sure, let me pack my bag. You can add an invitee. You can add attachments, add notes, bring treats, whatever, and then click OK at the bottom here. And now we'll have that every day up until June 9th. Same idea. When I click this, and if I want to delete it, the prompt looks different, but it's the same. I can cancel it, all future events or only this event. So I'll say, let me delete them all. So all of those events were gone, they're deleted. And those were from that particular, oh no, actually it didn't delete. So let's actually delete these here. And then let's go back. Now I want you to see my phone. Just so you can see all of these different things in my phone. Here we go. Perfect, perfect. So now I'm on my iPhone. I'm still using Google Calendar on my iPhone. I put in today's date, our Zoom call today. I have a lunch date test. I put that in there because I wanted to show you all the difference. And I created the lunch date test from a different account, and I added this account as an invitee. So it's like, hey, do you want to go on a lunch date with me? And you can send that invite via email and someone will be able to accept it. So you'll notice that it has like some little lines there. It looks a little bit different than the one above it. It's just kind of got some gray in the background of it, if you notice that. So when I click on that or tap on it on my phone, at the bottom, if you notice that it says accept, maybe, or decline. You see that? Right down there, it says accept, maybe, okay. So with this, just imagine, for instance, Frida says that she wants to go out for lunch. She says, Julie, we're on the phone. She's like, Julius, you want to go out for lunch? I said, absolutely, no problem. Where are we going to go? I'll pick a place and I'll send you an invite later. All right, cool, no problem. So then she goes onto her, she finds the restaurant. She then says, all right, this is the place we're going to go. She creates everything in the invite. And then it gets to a part where she wants to invite me. Because instead of calling me up and telling me, hey, write all this information down in your black book, and this is the place that we're going to, here's the number, here's the location, all of this stuff, she can just go on there and then create it and say, lunch at Rocco's Tacos, and then put all the information there, the time, and then send me an invite. I'll get an email. And automatically, even if I don't accept it, it will pop up in my calendar like this to say, hey, you have a potential date. Someone actually is inviting you somewhere. And when I hit accept, it will send Frida back a note to say, Julius just confirmed that he's going. Or I can hit maybe, or I can hit decline. Now, if Frida just said, you know what? I'm going to invite 10 of my friends to lunch. I'm not even going to give them a call. I'm just going to tell them lunch is on me, so they probably will all show up anyway. So I'll send that invite out, and then she'll just send it out to 10 of her friends, and then maybe someone's going to be out of town. They're like, man, I would love that free lunch, but I'm actually going to decline. Frida will then get that notification to say, hey, you know what? Frank can't go, so he's going to decline. But I'll hit accept. And now it looks like the other date above it. It's not kind of grayed out anymore. I have that, it's officially in my calendar because I accepted that invitation. So in here, if I wanted to create a calendar date on my phone, we just did it on Google. We also just did it on Apple. Now I am using this particular calendar is a Google Calendar on my Apple phone. So that means it's universal. You can use it. So I'll hit the plus button at the top right. Once I hit the plus, we remember this. We have to put in the title. We're going to say, let's go somewhere cool. Flight to Fiji. I've never been there, and I've always wanted to go. So flight to Fiji, we'll type in an airport. So whatever airport that that you're closest to, you could say, I'll say Palm Beach, or how about this, PBI. There we go. Palm Beach International Airport. I put in the address. I'll say my flight is at 2 p.m. Okay. Repeat, never. We already know I'm in the Eastern time zone, so that's all right. Travel time. Now, here's the cool thing. I love this travel time thing, especially on your phone. Now, you're not going to take your computer with you all the time. And if you do, you're not just going to have it out in the car while you're driving. Now, you may not be looking at your phone, but at least your phone is out and it has the geolocation. So the cool thing about travel time is this. Once you tap on travel time, this is kind of small, so I'll read it to you. It says, add travel time for this event to your calendar. Event alerts will take this time into account and your calendar will be blocked off during this time. What does that mean? That means that select the starting location to automatically determine travel time or select the time below, 30 minutes below. So I will get an alert when it's time to leave. So if I have to go to the airport, and let's say it normally takes me 30 minutes to get there, but something happened on the road where the traffic is backed up and it's going to take me about 45 minutes to an hour, this calendar will let me know, like, hey, it's time for you to get ready to leave out. And I'm like, wait, it only takes me 30 minutes to get to the airport. And it'll basically look at the traffic conditions, what's happening at that point, so that I will get there at the time that I need to get there, which is here, 2 p.m. So I turn that on. Alert, time to leave. Now, that's my first alert as I'm going here. Then I can actually do second alert, and I'll say, you know what? Remind me that I'm taking this trip 1 week before, because I need to make sure that I have my passport. I need to make sure I have this and all of this other good stuff, and I need to buy that luggage. So now I have all of that information in there. I could say, remember to pack snacks. All right, we need snacks on the flight. Now we have all of that information. I can double check it. If I wanted to add someone to this flight, I can just tap on invitees and I can go and type in their email address and then they'll get that alert. Once I'm ready and I'm done, everything looks good. And I'm like, oh, you know what? My flight's not today. Let me go and change the 28th. I can go and pop that down. I just tapped on it. It went down and I go to the 29th. Like, yep, 29th. Yeah, it's tomorrow. Okay, got it. Then I'll hit add. Now, when I go in here, look at this here. I have my flight. This is all my information, but then it's on the wrong calendar. So you may say, well, I don't want it on my doctor's appointment calendar. Look at the calendar that says Nerd Julius. I can tap on that and go over here and say, no, it's supposed to be on my main calendar, and then go back over here. Now it's on my main calendar. This way you kind of stay organized and you say all of my travel stuff is going to be orange. And as you're looking at your stuff, notice my meeting here at 10 a.m. with Michael Scharf. This right here is just green, but my flight is orange. That is why I color code a lot of my stuff, because I want to be able to differentiate all of my things and say, hey, I know out the gate that anything that's orange is going to be travel or doctors or golf or bridge or whatever it is. And then I'll always kind of stay super organized versus just having everything as one color. I want things to kind of pop out at me and say, hey, you know what? I got cleaning today. Today I have doctors. Today I have a phone call. Today I have my health angel. Let's give my health angel their own color, so that you'll see out the gate that all my health angel appointments or Zoom calls may be blue. And then you'll know right then and there that these are your calendar dates. So Now, I want to show you all really quick, and then we're going to open it up for some Q&A because I know you have a lot of questions. There are tons of apps out there to try to keep you organized, and you can go crazy trying to stay organized with all of the apps out there trying to make you not go crazy. But I want to bring them up because a lot of people will like, wait, hey, Julius, what about Evernote? Yeah, that's tomato, tomato, like apples and oranges. If that's what you like, completely fine. You can use an Evernote to create notes, to remember things. You can do all these different items. Now, Evernote, I believe there is a cost to it. I think they still have a free version. They used to. But all of these different apps out there, remember the milk? This is another really cool app for to do. So you can check these out. This is basically on Apple as well as Android phones if you want to get reminders. Now, you have reminders and then you have the calendar app and you have notes, right? So I've never been a big fan on my iPhone. I have an app called, where is it? Here we go, reminders. I know a lot of people who love it. I'm just not a big fan of it. I like to put everything in the calendar. I'm a creature of habit. I've been using the calendar before there was a reminders app. So I just kind of stay in there. And for me, they're sort of the same. If it's in my calendar, I know that that is the one place that I will go and remind myself by adding it in there. So I know some people who have used the reminders, they use the notes app, and they use the calendar. Now, what I use the notes in the calendar app. Sometimes something is noteworthy. Sometimes I get in deep thought and I'm like, you know what? I want to write that down and I put it in the notes. Or if someone tells me, hey, you need to read this book or you need to watch this movie, I go to my notes app and I add it in my notes, which is this guy right here, the yellow and white one. So I can add in those notes right in there and say, hey, you know what? I saw this really cool restaurant, or someone told me to buy this to stop the mosquitoes in the summer. I added in my notes. In the reminders app, for me, it doesn't make sense because it's the same thing as the calendar. So it's redundant. But if you have this on your phone and you like to use it, it's very easy. You could create a new reminder by on the bottom left. You see new reminder and same idea, title, you got some notes, and then you can have a list of reminders. In addition to that, you have in the Google world, for those of you that have Androids, I use a calendar that's built into the Apple phone. It comes with it. If you have an Android, download the Google Calendar app. If you don't have it already, you probably do. So check your phone. This right here is awesome. So it's the same idea. I was on calendar.google.com. It's the same exact one. So when I go on here and add in my that nerd calendar, let's see here, nerdalert.com. So now when I go in here and add in my calendar here, you'll start to see those same entries that I made on the computer. There's my flight right there. The coolest thing about this is to get away from the black book. If you're using the black book, I'm not knocking your black book, but I'm just saying that sometimes you may lose the black book. Even if you lose your phone, computer goes out, you could say, hey, Phyllis, can I borrow your computer really quick? I got some really important dates on my calendar, and all I have to do is log in. Just never lose your password, and you'll always have access to it. So if you go to the doctor's office and their Wi-Fi is down, or you don't get a good signal in there to look at your stuff, and they're like, well, you have to tell us a date that you want your next appointment. Well, can I get on the computer here? Can I just look at my calendar really quick before I make that date? So everything stays in sync. You create it on the computer at home. You can just throw your phone in your purse or your tablet in your purse, hit the door, and all of that stuff should be in there if you have them syncing. How do you sync them? All you need is your credentials, username, which is your email address, and your password to log in. And that's how I'm able to log in on my computer, on the website, on my phone, on my tablet, and I have my Google Calendar syncing, and I'm always able to see it. Now, Google does some really cool things. As you see here, my lunch date, they have a little food right there. Just like we saw the dog, it sees that and says, hey, this is lunch. It sees May, and they put in different cool pictures. So it's a really cool app if you choose to use the Google on your Android or iPhone. You'll be able to see the same exact thing because I'm on my iPhone right now. But now you have one thing, your calendar dates in one place. Now, the last thing I'll say, actually two more things, is Google has this thing called Google Keep, which is like notes. And you can create notes just like you saw on my iPhone. Those come standard on my iPhone. And it's like, hey, we were just talking about the notes. Phyllis tells me about a new book, or she tells me like, hey, you know what? You need to look up this thingamajig that I saw on TV. Check this out. And I'm like, what's the name of that again? And I can just go in here and add a new note and say, oh, that's this. And I can add it in a note and then go and look at that later. And then when you're done, you could delete the note. But these things are great to have, but more importantly, I think that this will coincide with, I think the session that you guys had yesterday, that the gentleman had spoke about, like important stuff. I met this lady years ago who, this was in 2011, and she was doing something that now a lot of apps are doing. She used to, in her Word document, Shirley is 99 right now as we speak, and she is still going hard. She's still using all her devices and creating the notes, using the calendar and so forth. But at that point in time, 10, 12 years ago, actually, she was documenting all her medications in a Word document, and she wanted to save it on her phone. So we had it in like the notes and all of this stuff, so that she said, if anything ever happens and I'm out and about and an EMT needs to ask me what my medications are, maybe something happens to me. Maybe it didn't. Maybe I just need to recite this stuff. And she had, a nice list of information, and not only things that she was currently taking, but things that she's taken in the past. And she wanted to have a list where she can take with her wherever she went. So notes would be a really cool spot for that, so that if you are allergic to penicillin, you can put that in there. If you do have a DNR, you can put that in there. Now, it's not that an EMT guy is going to try to go through your phone and look through your stuff. Some of them will, but in an iPhone, I know they have set up where you have the health app, and you can put all of this information in there. Let them know your weight, your height, what you're allergic to, the medications that you're on, your blood type, all of this good stuff that you can put in there. You can also put this in your contact on your phone. So I have myself as a contact in my own phone, for a couple of reasons. One, you can create some notes in there like, hey, this is the house key or whatever the case may be. Or you can add those medical notes in there, or the things that you're allergic to, any of that stuff. So notes is a good place just to have it, so that when you do go to the doctor's office and they're like, hey, Rose, when was the last time you went to your dentist appointment? Or when was the last time you took aspirin, or the medication that you were on, blah, blah, blah. And you can have that information there, because sometimes, and it's not just you all, I forget. I'm like, man, the last time I went to the doctor about that was in You know what? Let me look through my emails. And then you're going and going and going and going and going, and you can't find it. I'll get back to you. Having that information there is crucial. Or, you know, if you are allergic to penicillin and it happened so long ago, you're like, well, what was your reaction? Oh man, was it hives? Was it that? Have it right there so that you'll be able to recite it. And you could tell those people. So anything that's important, you'll have it in your notes. To the point where my buddy, just the last part, I'll open up for Q&A. He's a young guy. He has 2 kids, and he said, you know, um, my son doesn't have an ID right now, and then different passwords. One of the things that I found out, and unfortunately I have to do this more than what I would like, but I try to gear people up towards this now. There's a lady that I work with, her and her husband, and you know, out of the blue, you know, I guess there was some complications, but her husband passed away. Well, he was the holder of all the passwords to everything, right? Now, she, at this point in time, she was not in her right mind to want to go and look for all of this stuff. She didn't even know where to look because she was dealing with her husband passing away. Now, luckily, you know, I was able to, anytime I work with somebody personally, I make sure that they have a password keeper, or if they're writing them down the old school way, I encourage everyone to write this stuff down, old or young, it doesn't matter. But Fred and I, we wrote all of this stuff out and typed it out, deleted it from the computer, and he had it in a safe place. I don't remember his passwords, but I told him, I said, keep it in this place. And what I'll do in our notes is say that Fred put the passwords in a safe place, so that even if you call the office and I'm not there, they can look at the notes and say, well, Julius worked with Fred and he said that Fred put it in a safe place. Where's that safe place at? I don't know. It's around the house somewhere. Point is that when the son called me up because the mother didn't know, I said, well, I know that Fred put him in a safe place. And when I saw him, he was putting in a file in one of his drawers there. He's like, I know exactly where it's at. Oh my God, this helped us out so much. So instead of going through all of these accounts, resetting passwords, or not even knowing a username, they were able to get right to it. Some people have them in their notes and then they put a lock on their note. So I've done that as well, where we have, you know, important information in there. And this is how we stay organized, just in case if something happens to me, I want my wife to know how to go about doing certain things. And we have these conversations right now because no one wants anything to happen, but a lot of people will kind of brush it off like, no, 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 don't talk about that bad stuff. It's like, no, it's not bad stuff. I just need you to be able to hit the ground running should something happen, you know? So use your notes, use your calendar. People can kind of know what happened, if anything happened to you. And just a lady yesterday said that her husband was losing her memory, and he basically forgot where he was. Luckily, she had the address in the calendar to know where to go and pick him up. So these things could be very beneficial for you all. So if you're not using your calendar, it's not that you have to jump right into it today and get rid of your book or your physical calendar you've been writing on. But I would say start to add the things that are on your calendar and make a duplicate of that in the Google Calendar and start to get used to it. After a couple of months and you feel like, oh man, you know what? I'm used to adding these dates, because it's going to be as soon as you start to learn how to ride this bike, you're going to take those training wheels off and you'll be popping willies in no time. So just get on it and just try it, because it will be helpful. And in addition to that, if you have a relative, if you have someone that you want to monitor it, they'll know like, hey, you know what? Frida's at the doctor right now. How do you know? Because she shared it with her daughter, and her daughter will be able to see her calendar as well. So that's the benefit of it. And just in addition to that, it gives you a peace of mind and lets you just dump that stuff out, knowing that you have it in the calendar, you're organized, and you feel better about it. So with that being said, I know we're going to have some questions. I'm going to stop sharing and throw it all to you.
That was great. It's definitely a lot of, with some questions and some definitely helped a lot. Let's see, where are we? So Marcia said, I was sent a laughter yoga calendar with classes all over the world. Is there a way to just keep the ones I'm interested in and delete all the others?
Okay, yes, Marcia. So when you subscribe to a calendar, it depends on the license in which they give you. So for instance, if I allow you to subscribe to one of my calendars, you may get everything on there and you can't manipulate those particular calendar dates because I won't give you license to. Because if everyone has this link and if they shared it that way, then everyone will be able to make a change to that calendar, and it'll affect the main calendar. Now, if they sent out invites to that calendar, absolutely. And if you accepted all the invites, then you can remove some of those, the ones that you're not interested in. So it all depends on how they sent out that invite.
Okay. And let's see, how do you erase information on notes no longer needed?
Oh, so depending upon who asked that question?
That was Benita.
Oh, Benita, what type of calendar are you using?
Benita, do you want to unmute? Hold on, let's unmute Benita. Hang on. Benita, are you there? I don't know. She's not responding there. She might have stepped away. I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah, if just to delete something. So when you're deleting a calendar date, I'll show you two ways. I mean, a note. Basically, hang on. There we go. So here's that one note that I created earlier, and it's all of this stuff. So once I go on here, if I wanted to delete that in the Google notes, I can just hit the little three dots on the bottom right. It'll give me this option to delete. I can make a copy, I can send, I can add collaborators. We can all have a note together with the collaborators, and then I can give it a label. But in this case, I'll just delete it. And now it's deleted. I don't have any notes. When it comes down to the Apple notes here, so once I'm in here, if here's my note that I created, the same idea, but Apple gives you the three dots at the top right in that circle. And then here, I'll be able to delete it here. And then that note's gone.
And then, so John asked, is there a way to share read-only access to my family members?
Yes, there is. So when you are, let me show you this here. Let me just get my calendar going. Okay, here we go. Perfect. So, John, are you using the Google Calendar?
No, the iCloud.
Okay. Yeah. So here, let me show you all here. So in here, let's say, for instance, it's the doctor's appointments. This is the Google. So I'll show you guys on both to give you the idea. So with this, if you just want to show read only, now what that means is those people can't manipulate your calendar. They can only view it versus making changes to it. So if this is the calendar that I want to share, I can click on the three dots, go to settings and sharing in Google. And then you could say, if I want to share it with people, I can go ahead, add someone, which I'll add myself. And I'll hit, you see the permission level here? See all events, make changes, make changes and manage sharing. So if I just actually say see all event details, that will not give them the permission to, manage it and do all of this other good stuff. So now I send it. They will have to accept that, and then they can manage or look at my calendar. In the iCloud, it's going to be a little different. So let's go here, open this guy up, calendar, and let's go with travel. If I go travel, I can go with a specific person. And again, let me add myself, click OK. And then they'll be able to, you see how you have this person's name, and then you go view only. So they can't edit. Right now they can view and edit, John, but here, if you go view only, that's all they'll be able to do is read it. And you also have this other public option to say, allow anyone to subscribe to a read-only version of this calendar. So if you want to just not add everyone in there and you want to make it a public calendar, you could do so, and you could just email them this link or copy the link and paste in the text. They will click on it, and then they'll be able to see your calendar and not manipulate it, but just view only, read only.
Does that help, John?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Good. And then how do you share your calendar? I guess that you just showed that, so that's that question.
Yes.
And then how do you color code your appointments again, like color code on the iPhone? That was from Amy.
So yeah, Amy, if you want to color code these guys, let me go back here. I'm gonna go via cable. Now, so you're on the iPhone, you mentioned. So let's see here. You're probably using this calendar here at the very top, is that correct? Okay. So once you go in here, and there are different views. Some people view their calendar very different. I like to have my month up top, tap on the date and see what's underneath there. That's what I like. But you may be viewing yours different. The idea will be the same. At the very bottom, you see calendars there. When I tap on calendars, as you see here, here is my Nerd at Nerd Alert calendar. This is the one that we've been dealing with. So right now it's like orange. If I tap on the eye here to the right of it, I can then go here to the color, tap on that, and then I can actually say custom, and I can go and get any of these colors, and I can make it a crazy color, whatever I want. Or I can just go with the standard colors that they give me. So you have those options. If you want to make it a different type of color, you go custom. And then you can really customize these colors however you want. Spectrum on all of this stuff here and make it here. And now that's the color that I'm going to use. And then once you just go back to edit calendar at the top, you'll notice that that's my new color. So you can choose that color. And then if you want to create different calendars on the iCloud, on an iPhone, at the bottom left, you'll see add calendar. And we're going to add just the first option, add a calendar. It'll ask you which account, because I have an iCloud account and a Google account. I can tap on that and I'll say test. And by default, it's going to go to my iCloud calendar. So once I add this one here, there's my iCloud. And let me see here. Yeah, this is going to go to my iCloud calendar. The Google calendar I usually add from Google so that it will populate right up here. But if you have an iCloud calendar, it will go in this section. Does that answer your question, Amy?
Yes, and also, do you have to have the nerd.com, the nerd alert?
I mean, if oh yeah, the nerd is mine, but if you do have it, that means you're extra cool. But I'm not saying that you all aren't cool. I'm just saying.
No, I'm not. Very old school on doing all this stuff. Okay.
Yeah, no, and nerdalert.com, we use Gmail servers. So that's why it's like a Google Calendar. It's really Google because it's using them to populate it. But whatever you have, it should work.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Amy.
So Rose asked, how does she find the calendar on her PC? It's a Dell.
So Rose, on your PC, the best way of going about it is opening up, let me share this with you, is going to your browser. Are you using Google Chrome?
Yes.
Okay, what I would do is I would just kind of, you can go there. It's the URL or the web address is calendar.google.com. So you can either type that in up here at the very top, calendar.google.com, or if you don't remember that, you could just go type in Google search, Google Calendar. Once you go there, that'll be the first result. You will click on that guy, and then now you're in that calendar.
Okay. How do I save the icon to my desktop so that I'll be able to find it, if I want to, because I have several icons on my, I wish I could show you.
Yes, if you have several icons, so there's a couple of ways. One, I like when it's something that's on the internet, you can have it on your desktop, but I do know that sometimes it gets a little filled up. I've seen desktops that has so much information and they still can't sort through it. So I like to save it on my bookmarks bar. So if you can see my screen, do you see this little star in the right corner?
Right.
Yeah, so if you click on that and you say bookmark this tab, and then you say calendar, and then you click on, it's gonna say, because I want to name it calendar, not all of that stuff. And then you hit done. Now you're like, well, where is it? I still can't see it. If you go up here to the three dots where it says error for me, I have to sync it. But if you click on these three dots, you slowly go down to bookmarks, and you go over to show bookmarks bar. Watch this. Now you'll see underneath this URL up here to the top left, underneath this arrow, we have the calendar there. So that every time you open up your Google Chrome, you'll just have your bookmark that you go to. So you could just click on that and it'll automatically take you to your calendar. To have it on your desktop, it's possible. There's a few steps to adding it as a shortcut on your desktop, which I can, guide you to the directions. It's more like, it's just a little process. It takes you about, maybe it might take you about 30, 40 seconds to do so, but you can do it. I just find that this is a lot easier because every time you open up Google Chrome, it'll be right in your face right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Julius.
You're very welcome, Rose.
So there was a question that came in on where can I locate an area to place titles for business?
Oh, you mean like, who asked that question?
I'm not sure who is behind that question. It just says iPhone with a number. You want to unmute?
Hi,
So-
this is BJ. And Julius, I'm looking for an area. I think we have a template somewhere within the phone where one can place a title or email address where that is permanent. So each time you send an email out or any type of document, that if it's for business, that it remains and you're not typing it in each time. I suffer with arthritis. And so I thought that was available somewhere, but I haven't been able to locate it.
Now specifically, you mean in the, like, for the calendar invite, or where exactly?
I am not in the calendar, so I'm like not there with that.
Okay,
And I understand the calendar, but this is within your emails or an invite that you might have, and you
yeah.
want to send it. But I thought there was some place that there was a permanency where one wouldn't have to repeat that constantly.
So is it like a signature on an email? Are you thinking like that? Like when you just keep sending an
Yeah,
email as your business on the bottom in a
yeah,
sense? Okay, so a
similar,
signature, Julius, like, you know, on
similar
email
to that.
or phone, yeah.
Oh, so like whenever
Yeah.
you send out an email, your business email and all your information would show?
Yes, and permanently there.
Yeah. That's the
Yeah,
signature. Yeah.
absolutely. Signature. So you want to, what type of device are you using?
Apple SE.
Oh, okay. So on your phone. All right. So in your email,
Mhm.
here, let me actually show you my screen here.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's see here. Share this. So what you're looking for is going to be in a different place. So we're going to go to
Oh,
settings,
okay.
and then in your mail,
Mm-hmm.
the accounts that you have already set up, I have
Yeah.
4 accounts. So these are the different 4 accounts that I have where I can send out email. Now in here, you're going to have a signature. You see that at the bottom? Sent from
Yes.
my iPhone.
Yes,
So
I do.
in here, I could, at this point, I could delete this out and say, thanks. Oops. Thanks, Julius E. Julius at nerdalert.com, 561-402-7343, and nerdalert.com. All right. So
Yeah.
now this is my information, and then I want to fix that. So here's my signature. Now this signature is associated with all my email accounts.
Mm-hmm.
And when I go to send an email, it'll automatically come in there.
I see.
Yes.
And there is a way, if you have a logo for your business, you can add that in
Yeah.
as well.
Okay.
So you would take your logo, I believe you could copy and paste it, and I think that works as well when you paste it into there. So you could have your business logo, and then your signature, you know, best with your name and, you know, and then however you want to sign it. He's doing it here. So he's taking it from his albums. He was going right into his photos.
Mm-hmm.
Save your logo to your photos, and then he's going to paste it right in there. His picture, his Nerd Alert.
Now, you know what? It actually, so with Apple, this, I have it in my phone, and I helped
Yeah.
a company with this before, and it kept showing up as like a little question mark. So what we had to do, and it
Uh-huh.
worked for a bit, was we finally, let's see, if I were to do this, so I paste it in here, and you would have, I usually size this up on a computer, but let's just say it's the right size, okay?
Yeah.
So in this case, I would copy it from here as it's in there and copy it, because for whatever reason, Apple, they will not let you just copy and paste a picture right here. Now you could do it on a computer, but in here, I had to go and copy everything and then add it in here. Now on my regular signature, I sized it so that it made sense.
I
And
understand.
that way you'll be able to do that on the computer itself,
Mm-hmm.
and then go and copy and paste it. Send an email to yourself and then go and copy and paste that signature with the logo. And then
Mm-hmm.
going forward, you'll have all that information in there each and every time.
Okay, I see. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. And I could do the same with the laptop.
Yes, correct. Absolutely. There,
Okay.
there's a place in the laptop where you could actually go and it's in your mail preferences and you have a signatures tab there as well.
Thank you so much. I appreciate.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks, Nicole, for clarifying.
Yeah, no, that's a.
Thank you, Nicole.
No, absolutely. Frida, go ahead.
Hi, Julius. I got a question. I have an Android
Yes,
and I like to color code stuff.
yes.
I've always been. Now in my Android, I use the calendar that came with it, it does help me. I'm trying to look where I can color code my doctor's appointments as well as my health angel and some other stuff. Where do I go? I'm looking while you were talking to the other person. I was playing around and let me tell you, I found a lot of stuff that you did say I
Yeah.
didn't know. But the color code in the Android, I'm looking and I don't find it. Or if
Now,
it has it.
now is it's just a regular calendar or is it the Google calendar you're using?
No, the one that the phone brings.
Okay, so I'm wondering, let me see, because they're all there, it's just in different places. What type of phone do you have? What type of Android?
Samsung, oh my gosh. I don't even know.
Let
10
me,
something.
I think, hang on, let me look up that calendar and see.
Oh, it's a Galaxy S10.
Okay, so let me share my screen and you tell me if this is the app that you're looking at. Is this the app that you see? Does it look like this?
No, this is, oh, wait, let me see if I can move it. It's on my app and it's the calendar right there. And then I click on it.
Okay, and what color is the calendar app?
Green,
So, okay, so does it look like this color
Yep,
green?
yep.
Okay, so with this particular one, it should be. So if you hit the plus button on the bottom right.
Hold on. Uh-huh.
And then, you go down to a place where it says calendar, or let me see here. You see where it says calendar when you're adding it under location?
All right, hold on. Wait a minute. It says my calendars.
Okay.
Wait, location. Yeah, and then it says my calendars.
Okay, now if you tap on my calendars, does it give you an option to add a new one? Like a new calendar with a different color?
Let me see. No.
All right, so you're probably gonna have to do it in team meeting. These are all your phone. So maybe it is picking up from your Google. If you were to go to, because you have a Google account, right?
I've never used it.
Okay. So in most cases, it'll be like where you see the 3 lines up at the very top up here. And then you should be able to add an additional calendar.
The 3 lines.
Yeah, like right up here in the month. I'm looking at the month view at the top left.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Okay.
And then let me see here if it adds, shows you.
There. Go back. It's at the top.
Yeah, because on all the other calendars, it's in this little hamburger menu with the 3 lines, and then you can add an additional calendar, like give it a title, and or a color, so that you could use that one. Yeah, this won't allow me to install it here
Yeah, it doesn't.
because that's where the calendars would be. If you go to those 3 lines, it should show you like this here underneath calendars, all the calendars that you have available. Now, if it's just on your phone, that's fine, but you should be able to add a color right in this section. It just doesn't show you how to do
I
it.
know, that's why I was, yeah.
See here, add more calendar.
Rose, did you know something on how to do that?
Yes, I have the same thing on mine.
Okay.
If you bring up the date, wherever it is that you're working on,
Uh-huh.
bring it up, and up in the upper right hand corner under share and delete, you'll see a little colored dot.
Yes.
Tap on it. There's your colors.
Look at that.
Oh, okay, I got it. I got
You
it.
can color code away all you want.
Awesome.
There you go, Frida, rainbow colors. There you go. Roy did
Yes,
this.
I love the colors.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
Awesome.
Okay. All right.
Sorry,
I got
just-
it.
I
Thank
knew
you.
how to do it, and I
Rose
didn't
to the rescue.
Rose to the
Yes,
rescue.
Rose.
Thank you, Rose.
Rose is getting an A. She's been at all these classes. She's
Yeah.
Hey, I'm learning. I'm still
Yes,
learning.
see.
Well, I
Very
learned
savvy.
something new today.
Oh, that's
There you
sweet.
go. Rose will be taking over teaching these classes soon.
No
Julie. Better
way,
watch out.
Jose.
That means that Julius is an awesome and amazing teacher.
That's
Oh,
right.
Thank you. I can't
I
take any credit
agree.
for that.
Don't forget the picture of the baby.
Oh,
right.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm actually.
Yeah, so
gonna
there's
do
one
that.
last question, and it was
Yes.
from Benita. She had asked if there's a way to use Google Calendar on her Apple. How does she sync it? Can she sync it, or how can she sync it with her Android phone?
Yeah, so if you're trying to sync the Google Calendar on your Android phone,
So she has her calendar's on her Apple, and she wants to sync it with her Android phone.
so the easiest way I would say is I like the Google app. That you go to the Google Play Store and download the app, Benita, and then once you download the Google Calendar app, you'll
Yeah,
be
that was
able
her, yeah.
you'll be able to just sign in with your credentials for your Google Calendar, and everything will populate right on your Android. Like Frida's using the calendar that came with her phone. I'm doing the same thing, but I really do like the Google Calendar app. I think it's very, like, just the way in which they present the things to you. So I would recommend you downloading that app so you have everything on that particular app, and it's a lot easier to use.